Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever Female Football Week referee seminar. My name's Sarah Willington. I'm the Women's Development Officer here at Football Queensland. Alongside me tonight, I've got three outstanding women who have forged the pathways themselves, not only in Queensland, but Australia, but also overseas. All three have stated their referee journey right here in Queensland, like many of you watching tonight, and grasp opportunities that have come their way. My first guest tonight is Lara Smith. Lara started refereeing in 2010 and became a Westfield W-League assistant referee in 2012-13. She's been a match official in the W-League ever since and boasts an Australian Sports Commission scholarship, as well as taking charge of Dallas Cup tournament and friendly under-20s match between Canada and France. My second guest tonight is Renae Coghill. Renae began refereeing on the Gold Coast since 2006 and has been an assistant referee on the W-League ever since its inception in 2008. Renae has been to two FIFA tournaments, including the Under-17s World Cup in Jordan and the Algarve Cup. She has been a FIFA and AFC elite referee since 2015 and is a candidate for the Women's 2019 World Cup. My final guest tonight is Casey Reibelt. Casey started refereeing in 2004 and has been on the W-League panel since 2008. Casey has been an AFC Future Pro member since 2009 to 2011, has been a FIFA and AFC elite referee since 2014. Casey is also a candidate of the 2019 Women's World Cup. Please welcome the ladies. Ladies, between the three of you, you have achieved some amazing feats. Let's get into some questions for tonight. Lara, I'll start with you and then you can pass the question on. Question 1, when and why did you guys begin refereeing?
I actually was studying at university, going to teach at a local school, and that school was a football school. So as part of my course, I decided to upskill myself in football because I wanted to teach the football class and thought refereeing would be another attribute to my skill set because I already had played and coached. So that's why I started.
Excellent, thank you.
For me, I started a little later in life. I was playing at the time, and a lady I was working with, her husband was really high up in refereeing on the Gold Coast, and every time he would ring up, he'd go, "Renae, do you want to referee? Renae, do you want to referee?" And I'd be like, "Oh, why not? I'll give it a go. I need some cash," and different things like that. So I decided to give it a go, and yeah, it opened up a whole new world, really.
Excellent.
I started quite young. I was 15 or 16 when I did the referees course. I started because I had been running some lines on my brother's matches, and I was a player at the time, so I just loved football and being involved in football. And then once I did the referees course, I found that I actually enjoyed refereeing more than playing. Some people think I'm nuts for that, but I just stuck with it and eventually stopped playing to focus on refereeing.
And it's certainly been a very good decision long term.
Yeah, I was rubbish.
So Casey, sticking with you, give us a brief background about the opportunities that you've had whilst being a referee.
Like I said, I don't think I would have gotten the opportunities that I did as a referee, or I have had as a referee that I would have as a player. I've had the opportunity to referee in countries all over the world that maybe I wouldn't have even travelled to for a holiday, let alone for the sport I love. I've been fortunate enough to, I guess, make really great friends in football, and I think it's probably changed who I am as well. It's really it's changed my life really.
Excellent. What about you, Renae?
Like Casey says, it's opportunities to travel to countries that you would never have dreamt of visiting, and the friendships and different things like that are really probably the keys that you really take away from refereeing, and you get plenty of chances to work with top coaches, top players, you're running alongside with them. I would never have done that as a player. It's really, the doors just open up a lot.
So touching on friendship, you three here seem very close, all from the same place. No? Casey says no, fair enough.
We're really close. We train a lot together, so it's hard not to become good friends, and it makes it a lot easier to hang out.
Lara, what about yourself?
I'm not as fortunate as these two. They're pretty bloody amazing at what they do. So I have been fortunate enough I get to travel around Australia, so that's fantastic. And some people at work do say to me, every week, where are you going? Oh, I'm off to this place this weekend. And they actually make me realise how fortunate I am that I get to travel Australia. And last year I was fortunate enough to go to Dallas Cup and referee there, and that kind of spiked me to say, I want to go further and I want to travel more and do what these two do. So
Excellent. So Lara, what was running through your mind when you got that phone call saying you're going to be refereeing in the W-League?
Oh, it actually was a little bit funny. I was assistant referee on the assistant referee panel, and unfortunately, I actually rang the boss myself and said, is there another Lara Smith on the panel, because I'm listed as a referee this week? Am I confused because I'm going to Sydney? And he laughed at me and said, no, you're actually being switched. So that's what was running through my head. There was another person on the panel. So
That would have been an interesting conversation, making sure it was definitely you that was there.
Yes, don't know whether they liked my IQ skills after that, but it was certainly there.
Excellent, and it's a huge achievement. Renae and Casey, being selected as candidates for the Women's World Cup is a huge honour. How did you guys feel when you were notified of that?
Of course, excited. I'm always a little shocked still getting the phone call from Ben to let us know that we've been selected. For me, I think you read the letter and it says out of 700 FIFA assistant referees, they've been selected 88 for the World Cup candidate, and to be one of those, and especially alongside world-class assistants like Alison Flynn and Sarah Ho, that's a pretty special moment that I'll never forget. So
Massive achievement. What about you, Casey?
Yeah, I still have to pinch myself, I think. I still probably don't view myself as... I put other people who've been to the World Cup on this pedestal. I still probably don't see myself as part of that group. And I recently went to a seminar for our candidate seminar, and they said to us, you guys are the top 40 referees in the world. And sometimes you just forget that and you think, wow, that's just so cool. But it's just surreal, and I guess at this point it's still just an opportunity. We're not guaranteed. It's an open list, and we've got a lot of hard work ahead of us. So I'm just excited for the journey.
You'll learn heaps even on that journey, regardless of what the outcome is at the end of that journey.
Yeah, I know. I had another referee who'd been to the last World Cup say to me that her only regret from the first time around was that she was so focused on the end point, so getting to the World Cup, that she didn't enjoy the journey before that as much as she probably could have. And so her advice to me was just enjoy the journey, and if you get there or not, it's a bonus. So
fantastic advice. And would you give that to any young referee that's even trying to start out?
Yep, 100%. Yep,
be superb advice. So you guys have got so much experience. Let's talk about some of the qualities that make a really good referee. Give us some of the qualities that you guys think make a good referee out there. Lara, you've been handed the microphone. It's up to you, mate. Off you go.
I'm going to steal Renae's answers. I think it's one of the key things is to be persistent and resilient, because they're Renae's answers, and now she's got nothing. Because it is a tough job out there. Sometimes players don't actually understand understand what you're trying to do out there for them, and they could have a bit of backlash, and so it's that resilience to know it's not attacking you, it's just a heat of the moment thing.
Part of the game.
Yeah. Well, let's not make it part of the game, but yeah.
But they feel it is part of the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That heat of the moment that they like to have that little outburst. Go on, Renae. Now she stole your answers. What have you got for us?
Well, it's tough now. I think you've got to have obviously a thick skin, but you've got to be humble about it and definitely enjoy it. There's no point in doing it if you're not going to enjoy it, but have an inner confidence in yourself. It's not being arrogant, it's none of that. It's about being confident in your own ability and trusting yourself.
Come on, Casey, what do you got to add to that? They've given all the good ones.
Nothing left. I'm going to go with self-belief. I think that we get plenty of haters as referees, and even within our own groups sometimes, because it's just such a tough job. And I think that you've got to have enough confidence in yourself that, even when you have a bad game or a bad decision, you just got to learn from it and be better next game. So I think self-belief is just a huge thing.
Cool. We'll start with you this time, so you can get the chance to have the easy answer. What extra steps do you have to take to get to that top of the refereeing ladder? What hard work have you had to put in extra to get there?
Apparently, undo nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I guess it just impacts all areas of your life, I would probably say. I spend a lot of my spare time when I'm not at work. I'm usually doing something to do with refereeing, whether that's watching matches, whether that's going and watching my colleagues as well, whether it's watching football on TV, whether it's out training, like the physical side as well as the mental stuff, watching clips. It's just, entering stuff into training logs. It's just everything. It just takes over your life pretty much. So, and I think that's what it takes, to be honest.
Yeah. Renae? Casey's probably just stole all your answers.
As they said to us just recently, we've got to eat football, basically. It's so it is like your second job, or it becomes it's got to be a passion, and you've just got to just keep chipping away, and that's the most important, is just keep going, just slowly and steady.
I actually forgot the question. What's the question?
The questions are, what extra steps do you have to take to get to the top?
Yes. Yeah. It's those extra 1%ers, things that you don't actually realise go into it. You've got your nutritionist, your sports psych, you've got recovery. Recovery is such a massive element to it, because we train 3 to 4 nights a week, plus doing matches on the weekend. If you're travelling at any point, you'd be surprised, even an hour flight, how much it takes out of your legs, and hydration. And so you're constantly monitoring, if there's training that night, have I had enough fluid in the last 24 hours? Have I eaten right? Because if you haven't, it will hurt you that night training. You can really tell the difference between whether you are hydrated or dehydrated. So those extra 1%ers that I think people forget, to go to that next level, to get that 1%, you have to go beyond the expected.
So that becomes more of a lifestyle change.
Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle change. If it's not your lifestyle, you wouldn't be able to continue and keep it up.
Yep. So when you guys first started refereeing, did you ever think this was going to be part of your career?
You can go
first. No, not at all. To be honest, I didn't even know referees trained. I didn't even know that they didn't. To go to training, I was like, what? I just don't show up. So yeah, for me it was a huge eye-opener, and for me I probably still am quiet, don't really like the attention, so to referee was crazy for me to do.
Out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, like this. Awesome.
Yeah. Casey? The question, yeah.
The only thing that comes to mind is that I know when I first did my referees course, the guy who was running the course, I think I was the only female at the day, he said, there's not a lot of female referees getting around, so there's lots of opportunities for you if you want to pursue it. And I think just at the time there was just a little spark that he sort of lit, and he probably doesn't even remember saying it, may not even be around anymore. Just but it was just that little spark and got the,
just telling you there's a pathway, there's a good opportunity to take it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Lara?
With opportunities, when I first started, my opportunity was probably based on my professional career in my job, which is now probably football helps me become a teacher because they're quite intertwined, which Casey may agree as well, that very much teaching is like refereeing and those skill sets jump over. I did not think that a couple of years after I started my course, I was a bit later on in my course, that I would be able to travel around and meet the people that I've met. So that's, as they've said before, the people that you meet is the biggest asset to refereeing.
So being elite referees, evidently there's always that challenge of the work-life balance, and it's brought up on time and time again. For you guys, you evidently all work full-time, plus referee full-time. How does that take effect on you guys and maybe your families?
I'll start this one. So it's some days I don't go home until I finish training. So it's up at 6:30. You get ready for work. If we have a meeting on a Wednesday or something, then it might mean that the gym session's early Wednesday morning, just depending on when you can fit it in. So everything is. If I'm going to work straight after work, I'm starting that next transition into my next full-time job, which is also refereeing. I'm very fortunate that I get along with these two, that I think anyway. And I'm lucky also my husband referees, so that's how he can see me. So yeah.
Is he on the sideline or in the middle with you?
So his pathway at the moment is the sideline. So yeah.
There you go. Excellent.
But it is a balancing act. So for me, I'm lucky, single lady, so I can just focus purely on work and refereeing. But it is still difficult to fit in family, friends. But you've got to hope that you've got the support of them to encourage you and understand when you do miss important events sometimes because you're chasing your dreams. So when you do get free time, I try to give back to them a little bit more, to say thank you as much as often as I can. And I've just got to hope that they understand that refereeing is only a small part of your life and you only get one small window to take your opportunities. So you thank them and hope that they support you through it.
Excellent. Casey?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. I think teaching, it's a really good career to pair with refereeing, I guess, like Lara was saying, with the skill set, but also in terms of, I guess, managing. I'm fortunate enough that even though I take quite a significant amount of time off, I still get my school holidays, so I think that helps with my mental health. Also, I'm very fortunate that the school leaders and my heads of department and everything are very, very supportive. I know that very early on, my head of department said to me, look, like Renae said, it's a very short time period that we're talking about. You're going to work for the rest of your life. But refereeing, if you've had a really great career, it's 10 years. Yep. So you got to take that, otherwise you miss the boat, and then that's it.
So evidently you all have to do a lot of sacrificing in order to pursue it. It's during games, sometimes we have a difficult game. And how do you guys get past and just keep going as referees? So we always have that one game that is a bit of a bugbear and we have to rethink of what happened in that game. How do you guys deal with that and move on and go on to the next game? Casey, you can start.
I'll go first then, shall I? I've had a few doozies. I think it's getting easier than probably when I first started. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I find it really tough to make mistakes on the field because I just, I want the best for the game and I want to make really good decisions that benefits the game. And so when I don't, I used to find that really, really difficult and still do. But I think that just taking the approach that, we're human and we're going to make mistakes, but to analyse what you've done, learn from it, talk to people about it, other people who've had similar experiences, and it just makes you a stronger person and a better referee, and yeah.
Yep. Renae?
I think it's important we're lucky we've got good coaches and we've got each other that we can talk about the mistakes or the problems that we've had, and we can analyse it, figure out a way to hopefully not have it happen again. But we've really got to, as Casey said, realise we're human. We're giving 110% out there. We're trying to make the best decisions we can, and as long as we keep learning and growing from that and those mistakes, it's only going to make us stronger and better referees for the future. So,
Yeah. Lara?
Yeah, I guess everyone is quite open here in Brisbane. I'm very fortunate that my career is not as far along as these two, and some people at training that we have that you can just walk up to Chris Beath or Jared Gillett and just ask them, what do I do in this situation? And they'll give you an honest answer. I think if you open yourself up to want to learn, you'll get there a lot quicker than not talking about it and not providing yourself support with all the people that are there to support you. And it really does help to try and overcome that next situation that you may have made a mistake, and to fix it.
So we always talk about we can learn after things have happened, we go back and review games. But how about when you're in the middle of the game and something's happened, how do you mentally change and continue knowing that that's happened, but you need to get on with the game, you need to continue that? How does that work for you guys? What sort of hints and tips maybe you can give some of the younger referees that could help?
Yeah, it's that is quite tough. Something's just happened, you know that you're not 100% sure whether you're correct, and the biggest thing that we're taught is you can't guess. You've got to be honest with the players and just say, I just didn't see it. But when they're obviously upset because you might have missed a foul that cost them a goal or anything like that, you just have to say in your head and know, if I'm thinking about this now, then I can't make the next decision, because it becomes a snowball effect of I missed the thing. Yeah. We hang out too much.
Spend far too much time together. You have one another's answer.
Yeah. So, would you like to finish?
No.
But yeah, so you always have to be okay. That's done. Put it in the bin. You can discuss it later. Talk about it later, and then move on. Lot harder to do than it is to say. Yeah.
Girls, any advice for some of the young ones out there that what they could do if that happens to them? Come on, Casey.
Run away. No. My advice. Okay. I guess on the field, I try to, because sometimes you get a feeling that you've gotten something wrong, whether it's from player reactions or. Yeah, you saw something at the time, but there's just something a bit off about the reactions of the players, and you think, I guess I just try to put that in a box for later. Okay, yes, that's happened, but I can't change it now if it's wrong or if it's right, whatever. So I put it in a box, and I don't want to think about it till I finish the match, because you don't want one potentially bad decision to turn into 2 or 3 or 4 because you are still thinking about the last one and you're not focused on the next decision. So that's my advice.
Yeah. Renae, I know Lara did steal your thunder there a second ago, but have you got anything to add?
I agree with the girls. It's all about parking that decision, basically, because especially on the line, you're not sure, tight offside, and right or wrong, you can't change it, so you've just got to keep going and focus on move on to the next thing as quickly as possible, because otherwise it, as they say, it just you'll just be mistake after mistake, and one mistake and the rest of your game excellent, then you can live with that. You can't live with 5, 6 mistakes because you've been focused on one thing that may be right. You never know.
So just to the viewers out there, if you've got questions that you want us to put to these guys, by all means, please just type them online and we'll get them to them. So just moving on, guys, how would you describe the development structure of referees here in Queensland? How's that help you guys with your pathway?
Training. Very lucky that Monday nights I needed to do a 5K run. I'm not very good to train by myself. I'm a team person. I need to be with people that I can just call up Ted and I say 6 o'clock, QSAC, be there, and he's there. So that has helped us, and the coaching clips that we get and our once a month training for clips also helps. Do you agree?
We are very lucky here to have a good bunch of coaches and people and a lot of elite male referees and women experienced referees that we have access to every training session that can. So Queensland has a really good group of people that are there, and everyone is happy to help and support. So that is probably the biggest bonus of we've got a really good group of people wanting to help everyone be the best they can be at any level. So.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate that we've got it's like a football family, really. And I think it's just that support that you get from coaches and also your colleagues. It's just unrivaled. And I know that one of the things about being an international referee is that you get to hear the stories of people from other countries who you think you might, we haven't got it that great, but then you hear some of the stories about girls who don't have a training field. They're running out in the paddock somewhere. They don't have coaches. They'll do 7 games in a whole season. It seems ludicrous to us, but it just gives you some perspective about the sort of support that we're lucky enough to have here in Queensland. So I think we're very fortunate.
Cool. So within your football family of referees, is there a bit of brother-sisterly rivalry between the boys and the girls at the top level? Does that happen? Do you sort of give one another a bit of stick out there?
You feel this one?
Poor Lara, getting one to do.
We do give each other a bit of stick, but that's, I guess, part of the camaraderie. If it's not sarcastic, don't say it sometimes, particularly this one. Loves the sarcastic remark, hence why the mic's always towards us. She's just saying it quietly. But we sometimes have a little muck around game for training, and some of the chat there. Good Lord help everyone who referees us ever.
So does anyone have to actually stand in the middle and referee you guys, or are you actually?
Yeah, Carney does. Yeah. We are terrible. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's the reason why I think I hung up the boots and became a referee.
Fair enough. We've actually got some questions from our viewers, guys. Here's one for you. How long did it take for you to rise from a junior ref to a senior ref, and then from a senior ref to an NPL and then W-League referee? There's a quick one. Go on, Renae. You've got this. Before Lara steals your
Well, I
thunder.
actually wasn't a junior referee because I was an old lady when I started.
So we'll cut that bit. So what about NPL to W-League?
I was very lucky. I started on the Gold Coast, so sort of got thrown in the deep end. After a few years of refereeing, I was lucky enough to get straight onto the W-League. And I think I might have been on the W-League before I was doing the NPL, I think.
Yep.
Maybe around the same sort of time. So for me, it was quite a quick transition early, but then I did my time and development and that over a period of time through the W-League and NPL. Yep. So it can be fast, but most majority of the time it's a bit of a process. So.
What about you, Case?
Well, my pathway is probably a little bit different. I've been very fortunate that, the timings of when I've come through. So I'm thinking I was in youth football probably for 3 or 4 seasons, and then I transitioned from youth into senior. And then from there, I was, in 2008, I was on the W-League, and I think I was probably the youngest on there, and I think I was maybe 19 or 20 at the time. And it was just pure timing that there were people who were retiring, and then there were spaces available. So I was lucky enough to get that opportunity. And then I guess from the time I started refereeing to becoming a FIFA referee was, I think, 10 years. Wow. So...
Just in your junior side of your refereeing, you were there for about 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. What would be some of the key messages you could give to our junior referees today that you learned in that early stages that have given you the tools to go on and become a good, strong referee?
I think engagement's really important. So turning up to training, forging relationships with other referees and senior referees as well, so that you can get yourself a mentor or people who are going to come along and watch you referee, give you feedback. I think engagement. Yeah, I think if you're not turning up to coaching nights or you're not...
So gaining that knowledge constantly?
Constant improvement and engagement is what I'd say, yeah.
So Lara, your pathway, where did it all start and how did you climb up the ladder?
Because I was a bit older too. Just finished university when I did my course, about to finish university to do my course. So I did a year in junior football, and then I moved on to seniors, and I did kind of the under-18s football there, and did a lot of lines. I remember doing a year, I think, of just constant lines to get me immersed in, this is senior football, this is, the likes of being on Chris Beath's line a lot, Martin Krenner's a lot, the senior men and how they handle men's football to learn first before I got thrown in the deep end.
So being on a lot of lines sometimes can be frustrating as a referee because you think, have I not done something right to get in the middle and so on and so forth. How did you just continue to grind that out to knowing that in the end you were going to get given sort of the golden key to get into the middle?
Yeah, I actually quite liked that process because before I refereed the middle, I became familiar with the players. And to have that rapport, they knew my face, they saw my face. So I think that was a really important step before I went there.
So it made that transition a
lot easier. And, when you do step into that middle, then you've got senior assistant referees there to support you in case you do make a mistake or you're a little bit nervous. And, so I think that being on the line and learning from the senior referees really helps.
Excellent. So one of the other questions they've got here is, how do you get recognised to be recommended as a W-League referee? That's a pretty tough question. Is that more about being present at your coaching nights and so on and so forth and being amongst the big knowledge to be able to learn and draw from? Is that what you would recommend?
Here you go.
Casey's got this. She's on fire.
Just turn up. Nice haircut. No, got that nailed. I would suggest, I guess a presence. So engagement, turning up to things like coaching nights, training, etc. I guess that we have got that pathway of going to state titles, performing at that, going to national titles, performing at that. So I think it's really important that taking your opportunity and just always trying to be at your best, because you just don't know who's watching your match, and so many matches these days are videoed as well, so you might think, oh, there's no one here watching me, but someone might catch you, and then it's just that one moment that they see and they think, oh, there's something there that there could be a future. So I think always I
think that's a great answer. We'll relieve the other two of the answer.
Sorry.
But here's actually a really good question. We talk about getting assessed. Referees need to be assessed to be able to learn and develop. What's the advice that you would give to anybody, how they could do the job right to impress the assessors and maybe go up that chain of ladder? How do you guys cope when you're being assessed? When you very first started your journey, was that the most daunting thing you've ever come across? Is someone sitting there watching every move you do? And
I think it's really important to be positive and open to feedback. I think that as soon as you start thinking that it's a personal attack on you, or you shouldn't be refereeing anymore, or anything like that, I think that's when you're going to start to, find some difficulty. But if you're being positive about it and taking it on board and go, okay, yeah, I could probably try this out, I'll probably try that out. I think that sort of attitude is recognised as well, and that's part of being a good referee is being open to that.
So are you coachable? It's probably a good...
Yes, coachable.
What about you guys? Go on, Renae.
I think that when you're on a match and you know the assessors there, every match you should be giving the same, but you always want to just give your best. It's not, okay, I'm a bit tired today, I'll just cruise through. It's about, I'm going to give this everything I've got today, and then you can have, if they've got feedback for you, then you can only learn from that. It's not anything negative then, because you've given everything you can, and their feedback is just going to help you grow and advance in your refereeing.
So Lara, being a W-League referee, assessing is quite a constant thing. Every game that you guys do, going up the chain of ladder, there's always an assessor there. So evidently it's a good habit to get into, is have a good rapport with assessors and understand where they're coming from. What sort of things have you come across during that journey of being at W-League and being assessed?
It's become natural to be assessed. Sometimes I think that the way that they do their assessments and their reports now, the assessors, well, their coaches really, put in so much time and effort to clip so that we understand what they're saying. And I think sometimes, just like referees, we also forget that the assessors are putting in 110% just so that we are better. It's not out to get us or not out, it's to make us better so that Australia has the best referees. So it's a natural process.
So ladies, here's a great question. Do you prefer men's or women's games? And which do you find more challenging and why? So there you go. Start with you, Renae.
I find them all challenging, especially in the middle.
From an AR perspective, which is more challenging? And
they're very different. Men's football is fast, but men play in a very structured. You kind of know when a man's going to tackle hard. Women are a little bit more sneaky, and so it can be hard to tell what they're up to, and definitely it's very hard to compare them, but they all have their merits, and I think women's football is getting better and better. So, and especially international women's football is fast, it's skillful, so you really have to be at your best.
Come on, Casey, which one, men or women? That's your question.
I do like to referee both men's and women's football, but I guess one of the things that I really love about women's football is I think it's still very pure. So what I mean by that is that we don't see as much cheating. We don't see as much diving. You don't see as many women getting in the faces of referees and trying to, intimidate them or change their decisions. And just the passion that they have for the game and for each other. And I think that, I think it's very pure.
So Lara, which one's more challenging with your man management skills, the men or the women?
It is quite different. If a bloke doesn't like you, he'll come up to you and tell you straight to your face. So you kind of get, okay, I've obviously annoyed him. So you either build a bridge or move on, essentially. And women sometimes will come up to you and shake your hand and accept the decisions that you make, but sometimes they can also not shake your hand, whereas a guy would say, I don't think you had a very good game or anything like that, but you tried your best, and they still shake your hand. But sometimes women don't shake your hand if they don't agree with what happens. So yeah, it just depends on the day, I think.
So which do you prefer, refereeing the men or the women?
Probably at I really enjoy refereeing the W-League. I look forward to that season every season. So that is my highlight each year.
And do you believe that the men build you to the W-League to create you a better referee in the W-League by dealing with the men during the pre-season?
Yeah, I think that their playing style and their heavy contact that they have, and their different style of football creates a broader understanding of football as well. So doing the men in the local season and then going to referee the W-League each year gets, I think, a bit better.
Excellent. Here's a question. What are the most common and biggest mistakes you see newer referees make? So are you guys around some of the newer referees in your, well, especially in your mentoring when you're at coaching nights and so on and so forth? What do you think are some of the common mistakes new referees make, or something that you may have made as a new, when you first started out your journey?
I think sometimes when someone yells at you or says you've made a bad call, that you can quite easily take it to heart and think that you've made a bad call, but sometimes it's not a bad call, it's actually a really good call, and it's just a different perspective. So knowing to hear it and ditch it, or reassess later on. Yeah.
Renae?
I think for new assistant referees, I think alignment is probably one of the biggest things to work on, and is the hardest thing to get right to start with. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for new assistant referees, is to work on that alignment with the second last defender, because that can really help and make your life a lot easier by getting that right early on and developing that. So for something for the assistants. Excellent.
Casey?
Yeah, I'm going to follow along with what Renae's saying about, I guess, positioning, essentially. I think that it's such a huge part of a referee's job, is if you're in that best position, you're going to make a really great decision. So I guess as a young referee, if you're not, following the correct process with positioning, and you're not understanding football or whatever, then it's going to be hard for you.
So a question coming in is, how do you make the decision whether to specialise as a referee or the assistant referee? Is that something you guys have chosen, or is it something that it's just the way it's naturally happened and progressed because of your actual specialties in what you can do? Casey?
I think it's different for everybody. For some people, it's just about what opportunities were available. It might be that there was some positions available as an assistant or as a referee, and you might be good at both, and that's just what came up. I guess for others, maybe it was more of a natural thing. I think for me, it was probably more of a natural thing. I'm probably more of a leader, and shut up. It's my way or the highway. No, probably probably more of a leader, and spotlight. But no, I think it was just more of a natural thing. But I was, these guys might disagree, but I was a pretty good assistant too. I still am. I still do assistant refereeing. I haven't ditched it.
What about you, Renae?
For me personally, assistant refereeing just fitted for me. I like it. I'm better at it. But it was just natural for me. It suits my personality, I think, to be an assistant. Refereeing is okay. I do it. But for me it was definitely just, it was what I didn't even think about anything other than going as far as I could as an assistant. Cool.
And Lara?
I get a little bit apprehensive that assistant refereeing is so black and white. You're either right or you're wrong with your offside call, and that gives me a little bit of heart palpitations that I can't talk my way out of it when the clear line goes and you've raised the flag and you should not have raised the flag. That sends a little bit of sweat to my hands. So naturally I like to try and justify and talk my way out of things. So refereeing perhaps maybe was a bit suited to me.
Fair enough. Look, we're going to bring this to a close. One of my last questions to you is, who did you guys look up to in the game coming through the refereeing ranks, and probably still do today as to that? But have you guys started mentoring younger referees? Is that something that you guys are looking forward to later on, or what are you thinking in that space?
I think most of the people on the elite panel, or who have been on the elite panel for A-League and international, I still look up to them, and they teach me a lot all the time, so I'm constantly learning from them. And sometimes with mentoring, it's, that casual conversation at training to another youth referee who comes up and said, oh, this happened at training. So the obvious mentoring relationship probably happens naturally from them just asking questions and training and being present.
For me, probably not just one person. It's been a multiple people that you're asking questions and looking up to who are already doing it. We're very lucky to have a lot of people that are on the top panels or travelling internationally, and they're all very helpful and open. So I think it's been very valuable to be able to take a little bit from everyone. And for me, I got an opportunity to go to a nationals and help out some of the young girls. That was probably a quite rewarding experience, to be able to just offer some little things to them, and they were just so excited and fresh and new and like little sponges, just taking it all in. So it was just such a rewarding thing to help just in that small way for me. So.
What about you?
In terms of people I look up to, I guess I was very fortunate early in my refereeing career that when I was coming through, there was still the likes of Chris Lockeleye and Tammy Ogston and Jackie Herford, and I was just in awe of those guys, really. And I guess they opened my eyes to what was possible, and I really look up to those ladies. In terms of the younger referees, I was actually with Renae at the Nationals last year as well, and I guess as a teacher as well, I get that every day in my job, but I guess the satisfaction that comes from helping younger referees and showing them what's possible, and like I had with Chris and Tammy and Jackie. So last year I went around to a few matches, and I hope to go around and see a few more young referees this year.
Excellent. Well, look, ladies, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's been fantastic having a good chat with you, and hopefully our viewers have had some fun watching us and having a laugh with us along the way. But more importantly, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck, all the best, hopefully for the World Cup, ladies. Lara, keep working hard in the W-League, because we love seeing you around and about, and keep working with the game. Thank you so much.